Hey, thanks for joining us for today's video. EA actually had the first version of this video taken down just a few days ago. I think it was because I played the Madden 25 trailer so many times, and that may be considered a YouTube sin. So that's probably why the video was taken down. At least I hope so, because I felt like I was very fair in sharing my experience with Madden 25 so far. Nonetheless, here is the re-uploaded version of the original video, but obviously instead of using the trailer, I'll be using screenshots this time. And if it gets taken down this time, well, we've got an issue. Nonetheless, let's party. What's up, family? The countdown is on. It's Madden season, it's college football season. It's a great time to be a sports gamer, even more importantly, a great time to be a football gamer. Today we're going to talk more about Madden 25. We've been playing the game and we found a lot of different things to talk about, some things to look forward to, a lot of questions, a lot of concerns per usual. But as I said last week, we do think you'll have some fun with this year's game, Madden 25. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and stay connected. That way you don't miss an update as we continue to break down what you can expect in Madden 25, giving you updates and some commentary along the way. All right, so today, let's talk about the Creation Center because we're more so franchise Madden players than anything, and the ability to create and edit players is arguably the most important thing when it comes to that side of the game, because what you can and cannot edit or change really impacts how immersive the franchise experience truly is. That's why it's so frustrating and has been so frustrating dealing with EA in the franchise mode, because it's like a lot of those details, the ones that they ignore, are really simple changes that go a long way towards creating an immersive experience, which in turn creates an immersive and fun and realistic franchise experience. Now, I have to apologize because this is the second time recording this video. The first time I got so excited because of something that we found in the Creation Center, we went ahead and recorded the entire video, and in post-production, I went back and checked my work only to find that everything that I had talked about was completely incorrect because it was in Madden 24 as well, and it wasn't a new thing. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the ability to identify and edit the hometowns of your created players, and also the ability to give them birthdays. I thought that was something completely new and native to Madden 25 and recorded an entire video about how that's going to elevate our franchise experiences. And then I went back to Madden 24, went to the Creation Center, and saw the exact same things. You can change the birthday and the hometown in Madden 24. It's just the only thing, and I guess the biggest thing, that you can't do it in franchise, which makes me believe that it's also the same thing in Madden 25. You probably will not be able to edit those things in franchise as well. But I just wanted to apologize because we were anticipating putting out more Madden commentary days ago, but this was the hang-up. But for what it's worth, EA, if you are listening, those two simple fixes will completely change the franchise experience because it allows you to create deeper experiences of immersion with the created players if you're able to change their hometown and their birthdays in franchise. Especially because the hometown thing is part of what some players use to accept or deny a free agency contract offer. It is one of those things that's relevant to the game on one aspect, so I feel like it's something that should be common knowledge on the other aspect. We've played our franchise on Madden 24 well into the future, and majority of our league is created players, and we don't know the hometowns of 90% of them because maybe only 10% really cares about that when it comes to whether or not they accept a free agency contract. But I don't want to get too far on that track. We could save that for another video. But I just wanted to apologize for how long it took to get this out. But there were some things that we did find in the Creation Center that are worth discussing. The most exciting was the new equipment. There is definitely new equipment, and I got this question a lot on Twitter at BeamMeUpBrian. There are new pieces of equipment, and even some of the older equipment looks like it's designed a lot better and a lot closer to reality. Like the Vix's helmet looks the best I've ever seen it. Same for the Axiom. Those are two helmets that I imagine gave designers a hard time because of how different the design is, but I can honestly say that they pretty much got it right in Madden 25, and it looks fantastic in the game. They've also added a series of new sleeve options, which just give you more ways to kind of create parity between your created players, specifically towards franchise gamers, so that everybody's not wearing the same sleeve types. You really have different variations and even different styles of the same sleeves, like how much they're rolled up, where are they rolled up to, and even different types of sleeves, like different types of Nike sleeves. Like you have the dry fit sleeves and it has the Nike logo on it. They even had the sleeves with the pads in them as well. And I couldn't exactly tell, but it does look like you'll be able to place different bands and things on different places on the arms that we haven't seen before. Now also, because of my little mishap with this video, I am fairly concerned as to whether or not these things in this creation center apply to the edit player page in the franchise or when you're creating prospects in your draft class. I just don't know what translates over yet because we haven't seen that side of the game, but I can confirm there are new sleeves and new things you can put on your arms within the offline creation center. And it was pretty cool to see. I was really excited. Now, in terms of everything else, it honestly looks pretty much the same. There are definitely new gloves in the game. I think I saw a few new pairs of cleats. But in terms of like the jersey sleeves and jersey sleeves length, the pad height, tucked and untucked shirts, neck collars, back plates, flak jackets, all of those look exactly the same as they have looked in recent Maddens. So nothing too exciting with that. And really, when you go into the lower body, it didn't seem like there was too many new creation options as well. You got your towels, which were new to last year's game, or towel placements, I should say. You got your hand warmer placement, which is the same as last year's game. Of course, you have your two variations of thigh pads and knee pads, and you have those weird compression shorts options that don't even really seem to do anything in the game, but they're there. All of that is the same. I think I did see a few new pairs of cleats. The spats still look like they could use some tweaking, but other than that, there wasn't really too much to get excited about. But to answer that question, yes, there were some new equipment pieces in the game. But it's worth noting that this is one of those things that it didn't happen much in Madden 24, but in Madden 23, we saw a fair amount of equipment updates throughout the season. I do wish that they would just do it all up front. I kind of hate the idea of having to update the game for multiple reasons, which I will cover in another video. But I said all that to say that if we start this season off with limited equipment changes, that doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. A few updates could really significantly change how much equipment we're able to put on our guys. And no, that's not me covering for EA. I'm just having a conversation with you. That's all. Now, there was something else in the Creation Center that really got me excited, especially because, as I mentioned, we're franchise heavy. We do a lot of creating with players and prospects, and that is how many new faces are in the game. I don't even think that we've already seen all the new faces because it looks like they want to add even more. We saw a substantial amount of new faces and new designs for you to use with your creative players, and it's right on time and right on brand. Actually, I won't say on time. It's fairly late, but it is right on brand because the NCAA 25 game had already announced that it's something like 16,000 or maybe it's 6,000. Either way, it's a lot of created faces that are going to be in that game, and the possibilities are endless, and it just creates an immersive environment. So as we cycle through on Madden 25's faces that you can choose from to create your players with, it was refreshing. It definitely was refreshing to see those many new faces, new designs. A lot more had headbands and skull caps. I do wish that you could just toggle whether or not a face would wear a headband or not, but the point of it is that it's a lot of new designs, a lot of new faces. And if you're like us, you like to create guys, new prospects, bring on different new faces into the game, into your league, I think that's something that you'll appreciate and enjoy. Something else that was also refreshing was a simpler body editing UI. There were a lot of sliders last year for different things you can increase or decrease when editing a player's body, but it didn't seem like much of them worked, honestly. Like the arm size or the chest size, it always seemed a little glitchy or a lot of glitchy. This year, according to what we've seen, seems like that's out of the game. Not just the glitches, but also those sliders. They simplified it to just height, weight, arms, layouts. And I forgot the other two, but I do think it was just only like 5 different options. Now, again, it could have just been something that they're doing for testing phase, and maybe it'll open up when the game is actually released. And also, it might be different when you edit your players on the other side, on the franchise side. But from what we saw, it definitely was a simpler body editing UI. And speaking of which, the entire Creation Center UI in general seemed to be simpler. Last year, you had to click into a whole nother menu and a whole nother location just to select your equipment and your face. It doesn't appear that you have to do that on this year's game. Now again, all of this stuff is subject to change by the time we get to release, but that was something that we definitely appreciated because it was so frustrating waiting for a whole new UI to load up just so you can edit the guy's face, body, and his equipment. Lastly is something that I'm very skeptical about because I'm skeptical about having this in the game in general because it's one of those things that's good in theory, but it's been terrible. EA has been terrible with it in practice. And that's the abilities page. It does seem like when you go to edit those abilities, whether or not you have a quarterback with a high motor or a quarterback that senses pressure well, or a quarterback that is a pocket passer, or a running back that fights for extra yards, whatever, you know, that page. They did seem to add a few more options to kind of differentiate between different player personalities. However, the thing that I'm skeptical about and always on the fence with is that this always feels glitchy, gimmicky, and arcadey to me because it kind of boxes players in instead of creating differences for them. For example, on our Madden 24 season, as I mentioned, we're well into the future, we've had to change several quarterbacks. And honestly, before we even got to this point, we had to change several quarterbacks, real and fake, their pocket presence type and their senses pressure abilities, because we noticed that it would just make them really dumb. Like quarterbacks that were considered pocket passers would stand in a pocket as if they never played quarterback a day in their life, just watching the pressure come in. And they were kind of in this prison of being a pocket passer, and the game wouldn't allow them to make football plays. Some of them would literally have a lane to step up in the pocket and maybe gain 4 or 5 yards, but just wouldn't take it because they were a pocket passer. We would have to change that. And well, you can imagine what that does to immersion, right? So while I'm excited on one end that they've added a few more things to kind of differentiate the players, I'm also nervous because, well, I just don't want it to glitch out again. I want the games to be fun, and I want to have a great experience in Madden 25. As we wrap this up, that's a great way to segue out of this and maybe into another video in the next few days. That's what we want as gamers, as I mentioned last time. We just want to have a great experience, especially more specifically when it comes to Madden. A great experience without having to spend months tweaking these things that honestly we feel like should be taken care of when the game comes out of the box. I mean, a lot of things that EA mentions for Madden are good in theory and terrible in practice. And if they can eliminate that, which we did see in gameplay, they did eliminate a few of those hang-ups. They can continue to do that. We'll actually have a product that I think the community really appreciates. And I'm really excited to see what happens with Madden 25 and to see how the community receives this one, because we have been having a good time with it. But like I mentioned, there are some concerns. There always are. Hey, thanks again for your patience with this video. Hope you accept our sincerest apologies.